Good morning, folks. I think we'll go ahead and get started. Wow, that makes me sound important, I guess. So, hey, it's great to see everybody here today, and particularly great to see that the rain is holding off for us. It's one of those days that I think we're going to get a little bit of everything, a little bit of gray and particularly some rain. Wow, what a day for all of us in this community. This is one of those special events. I'm Dan Storck, the Mount Vernon District Supervisor, and I'll be your your host today for the event. This event is one that, in some ways, you could say it's 40 years coming, and I'm going to let my predecessor speak to some of that history. But this is one of those things that this community has looked forward to having a true center of the community. Probably since its founding. And this center is literally right here all around us, and it'll be an important part of the day today. So first and most importantly, welcome to the Lorton Library and Community Center and really the space and the park and all the elements that are here with us. We have not just this project, but we have a number of other projects in Lorton that will at least be bringing up as we go through the conversation today. But this is the one that's particularly one that centers all of us in Lorton. And I'm really happy to be here to kind of helping guide the conversation today, and hopefully the history lesson that I always enjoy and love to really connect us all. Connecting community is about the present, but it's also the past. And then in this case, it's also about the future, how we're bringing those things together for our young ones as well as folks yet to be born. There's several people I wanted to recognize to start with, and I know that Senator Stovall was going to try to be here. I don't think he's here, but I at least wanted to acknowledge if he was able to be here so far. And I know Delegate Markeen, he was instrumental in passing HB 404, which was deeming libraries to be essential businesses. And for those of us who believe in education and learning and making a difference and, if you will, growing, helping ourselves reach our full potential, libraries are the core of our lives, particularly as we get past our traditional schooling and we start engaging maybe the most important parts of our life, which is the learning that we do on a lifetime basis. I also wanted to recognize some other key folks here. First off, we have Walter Clark, the Mount Vernon Planning Commissioner. Walter, I thought I saw you here. I guess Walter's not here yet, but again, Walter is our Planning Commissioner. We have Tim Sargent, who really is Mr. Lorton. Tim, are you here? Tim's not here yet. Okay, he's the Planning Commissioner at large, but Cooley has been a key member of this community and helped to plan much of what we have here today. And then our newest at-large Planning Commission member, which is Candace Bennett. Candace, Candace, excellent. Thank you. Welcome for being here, and frankly, welcome for your service on the Planning Commission and the long hours that always represents. So again, thank you very much. Scott, good morning. Scott Stovall, Senator for the area, and they've been busy down in Richmond, hopefully getting some work done on justice and some reforms that we all, I think, are very supportive of. And Scott is, for those of you who may not know, Scott has really been leading that charge for the Senate. That's his primary responsibility, is to put together lots of changes in how we approach justice and police activities, a lot of which I would say quickly that we have already implemented in Fairfax County, and a lot of what I think is what Scott is bringing and the Senate's hoping to bring to the rest of Virginia. So again, Scott, thank you very much. A couple other people I want to mention. I want to mention somebody who's been very special to me. Over the past decade, I've spent having office hours at the library for when I was on the school board and now on the Board of Supervisors, because I felt very strongly in having local hours, local places that people could come and meet with me. And I want to recognize Lynn McKinney, who's the library director of Lorton, and all the conversations we've had all those years. And we're looking to absolutely have an even more special facility that we'll have a little bit later. And I know Jessica's going to talk about that as part of her role as executive director. So And then Casey Witchmarsh. Casey is the president of the chamber. Casey, thank you very much for being here today. South Fairfax Chamber. Appreciate, sir, your work and helping to put that together for us. And the South Fairfax Chamber is one, they're always looking for members. It's been a growing organization and one that helps to really center us as a community and make it, I guess, truly what this Lorton Community Center and Library will do as well, is to give us a home for our community activities. This has been a major coordination effort of a lot of different levels. First and foremost, we needed to make sure that we got it right. And what does that mean? It isn't what Gerry thinks is right or what Dan thinks is right or what county staff thinks it's right. It ultimately is what the community believes is right. The community has wanted, for more than 40 years, wanted a center here, a place that people could meet. And when we finally got those money, really due to Gerry getting the bond referendum pushed up, so we got this much earlier than we would have expected to get the funding. Once we had that money, then we had to figure out, okay, where and how should we go forward? And one of the initial concerns is, was this the right location? And so to make sure that we got not only the location right, but also the facility and the different programs and the other things that are going to be held here, we need to make sure we had a committee of the community to help us do that. So we have a steering committee that I put together that really has represented all of us in this process. I want to just to identify those folks and to thank them for their participation, frankly, their hours and hours of time to help create the kind of facility that is emerging right in front of our eyes. First and foremost, I want to thank Elsa Galvan. Elsa, you were the heart of this endeavor. Thank you very much. The passion you brought, the knocking on doors, the evening that you've engaged with all of us, thank you very, very much. Karen Corbett-Sanders, who is not able to be with us today, but Karen is a Mount Vernon District School Board member and somebody who was instrumental in the work that we've done in putting this together. Linda Patterson, LCAC Executive Director. Linda, awesome job in bringing people together and helping to make sure that the vision would be realized for this space. Martin Reiser. Martin, awesome job. Martin, I haven't seen Martin. Okay. Martin, clearly part of the committee, helped us, brought a lot of construction experience and really community experience that can help us walk through this. Peter Wayland has been a member of our community and different representations for Mount Vernon. Peter, thank you very much. I know you've also been involved with LCAC. Betty Dang. Betty, are you here? Awesome, important part of Tamika Gallman-Wright. Tamika, thank you very much. Howard Bishop. Howard, I know you've been involved not only here, but on the Environment Committee for our community. Chris Ambrose. Chris has been involved with this community at a deep level for decades. Thank you, Chris. And Angela Rosado. Angela, again, thank you very much for your work and being here today and helping to bring this to life for all of us. This committee was first formed in 2018, and they spent more than a year kind of bringing these different pieces together. And their community input, and that really doesn't describe it, it's really their advocacy. We had a lot of differences, a lot of different visions, a lot of different views about what this should look like, how we should do this. And the importance of community is that we bring folks together, the steering committee together, and we work through those issues as part of staff's work with that committee and the community's needs. We had representation for youth. We had representation for our seniors, our LCAC. We clearly had library folks. We had really all the key people that can make a difference in making sure this facility is truly steered in the right way. So, again, thank you all very much for your work and advocacy for the community and helping to make this a reality. The Lorton community has been, I'll say an underserved area, but really more importantly has been an under-respected area of our community. Respected because of much of what and how the county located county facilities here didn't respect the needs and the fact that this truly was a community as well. Important facilities, important operations that the county and ultimately others needed to have here, but they truly didn't represent the soul, the spirit, really the vision of this community. This community center, this library, and the other facilities that we're adding, I'll mention those a little bit later, are truly helping to bring those to life. Gerry getting the bond referendum moved up was essential for us being here today. Part of that original vision and part of the initial plans that I saw were you had a library and then you had a community center. And the two were two separate buildings, two separate parts of this piece of land, and truly not co-located, not connected, not, in my mind, truly a 21st century operation. And 21st century is something that is crucial to us. Not only do we need to save space, which we've co-located this facility, so we're saving land here that can be used for parks and used to bring the community together in other ways. We're saving money because we had the good fortune of Jessica and the library board and the county staff and others saying, wait a second, we have money for a community center. We have a library that's 30 years old that needs renovation. Why can't we find a way to bring these together, not only co-locate them, but ultimately build them together, recreate them together? And that kind of vision was what helped us to really bring this to life. It also has a pure dollars and cents value to it as well. We're going to save more than $1 million by doing the renovation, doing the new community center building together. Those are real savings that can be translated into not only buildings that we can do elsewhere, like the police station and the green that we'll talk about a little bit later, but also in the amenities and the kind of support and services that we can offer here. And finally, and maybe the most important reason to bring those two important assets together is that we bring people together. Libraries attract all ages for sure. We have young people, we have old people, and we have people who come for meetings, we have people who come to get learning, people who want to access the computers. There's clearly a key part of learning as part of that. Community centers are historically learning centers, but they've been more historically thought of as recreation centers. Recreation, physical activity, meetings. In this case, we're going even one step further. We have services that the LCAC will be, and the county will be able to offer here to support people. So what we've done is we've combined what is maybe folks that are feeding the mind with folks that are feeding the body with folks that are feeding the soul, and we've combined them in one true building, one true facility, one true place that all of us can be part of. And that to me is the power of this facility, the power of the creation that we are engaged in right now. I deeply believe that a healthy mind, body, and spirit is truly our future, truly how we help each person reach their full potential. And county government, our community, all of us, my personal commitment is helping people reach their full potential. Any way we can do that can make a huge difference. So again, I am ecstatic, I'm excited, I'm deeply pleased that we're able to be able to do this today. I also wanted to thank someone in particular. We have a library board and we have a Mount Vernon representative, and Gary Russell has been our representative for more than 4 years, and Gary was a key part of doing this. Is Gary here? I don't think I've seen him. It's okay. Gary was very, very involved with helping to create this facility, and he and I had many conversations, and I know he was a big advocate on the board to bumping up the renovation of the library and, again, combining those two together. So, Gary, I wanted to give you a special thanks. Jessica, as library executive director, the library board, the county staff, I know Joe Mondoro, the other folks who got together who could see the vision of bringing these facilities together, co-locating them, saving the money, truly making a difference. I appreciate and want to thank you for your vision and making that a reality. The county's overall investment is $27 million to get what we want in this facility. $27 million. That's your money. It's making a difference that will not only enrich people's lives, but also give us a home in the Lorton community. We're taking what I would say is a worn library. I think anybody who's been in it recently would probably characterize it that way. Lynn, you would probably say that's true, right? We have a worn library. We have I would say a worn senior center just down here at the shopping center that is needing upgraded. We have, I would say, absolutely a worn LCAC building that's maybe well worn and overworn and LCAC building. And we don't have a community center for the most part here. So taking those different elements and creating really a free community resource where everybody can learn, make a difference, reach their full potential is the heart and soul of what we're trying to do here. This area needs it. This is one of the neediest areas in Fairfax County and definitely one of the neediest areas in Mount Vernon District. And having facilities where you can learn, play, recreate, work, you can truly be part of the community is a way for engaging the young people, which are essential. But as I've mentioned multiple times here, the lifelong learning, which is essential to recreate the workforce that is constantly needing to be created. Who would have imagined a year ago that we'd be sitting 6 feet apart with our mask on, at least when I step away from the mic, and what that means for the kind of workforce that we need. We need a workforce that's far more IT focused. We need a workforce that can do and recognize that we need to do investigations about diseases and how to do research. We need more healthcare workers to make a difference for us. Who would have imagined that a year ago? And so what will next year bring? We don't know, but we do know that we're going to have a facility here that can enrich and support and help people in the community see that and grow and generate further skills for themselves. A multi-generational facility. How many places like that do we have in our lives where we can bring in young, old, middle-aged folks who are coming to learn, folks who are coming to a cooking class, folks who are coming to play basketball, and coming almost any time of the day or night to be able to do that. Those are what this means for this community, what this means for all of us. So it's a game changer, and not only because you can come here now and play hoops any time of the day and play a different kind of game anytime you want, but you can also come here and work on the computer, get quiet time, read. You can get career and education guidance and counseling. We can help small businesses come here for learning sessions and support that they may need to get their small business started, food assistance. Again, it's so many things for this community and so many things for all of us. So the last thing I want to mention, then I want to do a couple thank yous, and then I want to introduce the next speakers, is I want you to, I guess, recognize, I've kept saying, and probably too many times have said, how many different other things that are getting done in this area. First off, this community center and library, which is co-located and rising. We have a new fire station, which will be opening in the next couple months, a brand new fire station, which will have community rooms as well as part of that. We have a South County police station and animal shelter, which is going to be built right down Lorton Road. That'll be, hopefully we'll be doing a dedication of that sometime in the next 6 months to a year. I mean, a groundbreaking for that sometime in the next 6 months to a year. We have the Laurel Hill Central Green, which is also almost ready to open right on Lorton Highway. The ribbon cutting on that should be very soon. We have a Lorton visioning process, which Christine Morin, Christine, you raise your hand. Christine, Topher, her husband next to her. Christine is holding, she's my chief of staff, as well as hosting the Lorton visioning process. We need all of you to be involved with that. We have an item on our website, and there's information at the table about the Lorton visioning process. We need you involved and engaged. Lorton 2040, what should it be? What should it look like? We need you to be engaged with that. And on October 3rd, we will have our 5th annual tour to Mount Vernon, which will be started at the Workhouse Arts Center, and we'll be riding through this community out Mason Neck and through Fort Belvoir and back around again. It's a bike ride, a community bike ride, be very socially distanced, so you can come. It'll be a rolling start, so you won't have a group but we will have folks who can come enjoy a ride anywhere from 20 to 40 miles long, depending upon your interest and your speed of travel. Few people to thank. Brian Hill, he's not here today. He's our county executive. Brian was key to helping get the library funded and co-locating the facility. Carrie Needham, who's and Martha Sansevar and the team at DPWES, the folks who helped to plan and develop this facility. Carrie, thank you. Martha, thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, please give them. This is yes, and their team attended. I don't know how many meetings. Maybe in some ways, I'm sure more meetings than you ever wanted to. Yeah. The numbers will keep going up, and people can't say they weren't involved or didn't have an opportunity to view and give us their opinions about what should be done. And you all were very patient and very supportive and helped to really design a facility, I think, that brings all those pieces together. We have Palace Washington and Amanda Rogers. Palace, I didn't see her here so far. Amanda, wanted to thank them. They're with the NCS Neighborhood and Community Services. Jessica Hudson, I mentioned with library, she's going to speak in just a few minutes. Linda Patterson's also going to speak. I wanted to particularly thank Tay Choi. Is Tay here? Tay, yeah. Tay was one of the members of the Mount Vernon district team and helped to get this whole system and process started. I think you led most of the meetings that are resounding. So if something's not right, my advice is to blame Tay. That's kind of where I'm going to go with that. So, but Tay's working in the private sector now, but he still lives across the street from the facility, so he's going to be very much a part of seeing this emerge and seeing hopefully the creation that he was so involved with. It comes to life. We also have Stacy Northrup and OPA. Thank you very much for arranging and organizing, putting this. Stacy, thank you very much for putting this together. Very much appreciated. We got our Channel 16 crew, which are awesome folks, and they're so much part of everything we do. And nowadays, they're central to so many people learning and seeing the kinds of things we're doing here today. So thank you all very much for joining us today. We have a wonderful group of speakers here that are coming up, and I'm going to start with my colleague of many years when I was on the school board, and he was supervisor, and then obviously supervisor for 28 years, and instrumental in getting us and having us here today and getting the funding that we needed on the bond referendum. He was here for the original Lorton Library dedication, and that picture, I was telling him a little bit earlier, the picture of him with hair and at the dedication haunted me for years. When I'd come into the room, I said, wow, that guy looks really different. But he looks great, and we're very pleased to have him here today. And Gerry, again, thank you very much for all the difference you've made in our community for decades, and again, thank you for making a difference right here today for all of us.
Well, first, can I be unmasked, I guess, to make it easier. Standing in this structure, I'm not sure whether or not it was part of the plan, but am I supposed to be in tent as far as my remarks today?
Intentional.
Well, I checked the obituary column this morning, and my name was not in it. And if it had been, I just would have thrown the newspaper away. But the other evening, I watched the speech given by our vice president candidate, and frankly, listening to him, I thought most about the Lorton community as far as what has happened here over the years. 30 years ago, a task force was brought together, similar to what Dan has talked about as far as his visioning, headed up by a fellow named Bob Lundy. And that task force was charged with looking at this community and deciding whether or not it should be changed. Lorton then, and I was privileged to represent Lorton, was felt to be, as in the words of some people here, the armpit of Fairfax County, because of the intensity of industrial development, the fact that we had the sewage treatment plant, the fact that we had I-95, the landfill. We took everybody's crap and we took all their garbage. But what we did not have in this community were the number of people that could request of Fairfax County the things that existed in the rest of Fairfax County. We didn't have very many people living down here. So residential development was first on the list of the task force. And that task force came forward with a plan to transform the Lorton community, and that is exactly what has happened. And as the Vice President talked about the future of this country, he talked about caring, love, working together, respecting diversity, and people, most important, working together. And there is no other community in Fairfax County that can claim that they worked any harder as far as working together than the people of Lorton. And they should be proud of what they have done, because the people of Lorton have done this. I look around the room, and it's not room, the tent, and I see the faces of people that I was privileged to work with years ago, who have labored in the fields. Tim and Barbara Reiser, my good friend Marvin Miller. You've been there for us, representing a community in Mason Neck that always agrees on everything. Right, Marvin? Well, sometimes. More often than not. But and your wonderful chief of staff, who made the other part of the Lorton district even better in terms of the schools that we now have. And Christine, your efforts will never be forgotten. And then finally, I'll mention my former sister, Marcia Hansen, who used to live right over there, who, when she had nothing else to do, kept pushing me to represent Lorton as best I could, and she always had plenty of ideas. So as I look at where we are today, Lorton has been transformed. There's been an awesome metamorphosis of what it was before and what it is now. And the record speaks for itself. Property values and assessments have gone up higher in the Lorton community than any other part of Fairfax County. Lorton is now not a negative. Lorton is now a positive. Lorton is now a place you want to live, not to avoid living in. And that all happened because of people in this community who decided we need more people here, and if we have more people, then the county will have to recognize us and listen to us, because we'll have a greater voice in what happens in this community and in our future. So when I was asked to come to this dedication, there was no way that I wouldn't be here to at least recall the history of this community that is a history written by its citizens, and a history written by citizens that should be an example for any community to follow. And I'm just very proud of what they have done, because this is their success. I'm also very happy that we have a woman in the position of Deputy County Executive. I'm thrilled to see that, Rachel. As the former member of the Fairfax County Human Rights Commission and interested in respecting diversity and particularly respecting the rights of women in the workplace. And we're not there yet, but we're getting there. Dan, I'm just very happy that you have picked up the cudgel and moved forward. Your visioning task force is just a wonderful next step for the next 30 years in the Mount Vernon district. I'm not quite sure I want to recommend 30 years because I used to have hair. And maybe this is an occupational hazard, but it happens. I do want to thank all of you for coming. The one other thing I want to mention is the Community Action Center has for years labored under circumstances that were an incredible challenge in terms of your meeting the needs of the people in this community. We finally will put you and your staff in space, and more space that will allow you to do even more for the people in this community. So, Linda, I congratulate you on the past efforts, but also in the efforts that I know you will continue to give to this community. I'm just thrilled with that result, and the fact that we're able to co-locate in a center located in a part of the Mount Vernon district that, as your supervisor said, probably needed the greatest lift and boost in terms of having facilities to directly serve the people who are here. And that's obviously a very heavily residential community right on Route 1. But for me, this is not quite the last piece in terms of what I would like to see here, but certainly one of the most important developments and pieces of the puzzle that makes Lorton an absolutely marvelous, wonderful place to live. So in closing, I don't know whether I was intent or not, but I did intend to be intent. This is a special, special day for the people of Lorton. And to the people of Lorton, you made it happen. Congratulations. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gerry. And he did make it intentional that we be here today because we got the money to make it all happen. So thank you, sir. And I wanted to just introduce Rachel Flynn, our Deputy County Executive. Rachel has been a key part of the Mount Vernon District, particularly over the last year, as we have truly looked at the broader vision for this area. And we all look at what is around us today, but there clearly is a broader vision. She's been part of a number of meetings that we've held just to ensure that we get the resources and get some of the planning, some of the other kind of bigger vision parts of this together. To realize what you want to do 20 or 30 years from now, you have to have a plan. And that's really what Rachel's all about. She's done that not only in other parts of Virginia, but worked in the private sector. And all those pieces she's brought together and helping us kind of see a vision that's been a little different, frankly, than what we might have seen previously. And particularly for me, and looking at Route 1, Richmond Highway, and understanding that parts of Richmond Highway are now urbanized, and we have to look at those differently. Parts of those, maybe over the next 20 to 40, 50 years, will become more urbanized, but part of it is you have to see that ahead of time to make sure that when you get there, things are ready and able to support the community in the way that they want to be supported. So with that, Rachel, thank you very much for your commitment, your support, the many efforts that you've already made to this area, and particularly welcome to Lorton and the dedication today, or the groundbreaking today. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Storck, and for your commitment. It's remarkable. I wasn't born in Lorton or Mount Vernon, but I got here as fast as I could. And I love days like this. These are the days when government really shines. And I know government can get a bad name sometimes, and that's unfortunate because public service is a good thing. Public works is a good thing. And today emphasizes that. And we have many staff over the years, weeks, days, months, years, who come together, work long days, work evenings, work weekends, and are really dedicated to serving our residents, our businesses, and making Fairfax a better place. And one of the departments under me is Public Works. It's officially Department of Public Works and Environmental Services, DPWES. And so I wanted to recognize some of those folks and would ask them to just come up behind me, keep your masks on, social distance, but I'd like you to see them because these were the people when Dan and Gerry talked about 40 years. They're not kidding, and you know that. And the idea starts, decades ago, and then people talk about it enough, and then it becomes the higher priority. And then you have bond referendums, which our elected officials have to get through. And then you say, okay, we're going to do this. And then Public Works steps in. And then they hire the architects who are here today, and I want them to come up as well, and the engineers. And then they all get together and say, what's the program? And they work with the community to develop that program. And it's not easy because you've got to make tough decisions about what's in, what's out. Then you decide on the architecture and what's a dignified piece of architecture to go from that to this. That's a big deal. That says a lot about the values of our community, that we care a lot about Lorton and having these quality civic spaces that bring community together, and that the values in that will always be present in the built environment. And then you put it out to bid, and then you hire the contractor. And I believe the contractor, I'll bet it's that big beefy guy. I'll bet he's the contractor. Are you? Yeah, see? You always know who the contractor is. He's that guy who stands in the back behind the scenes but gets the building built, thank God. And then, and so many more. So I'm going to call out some names here. So Tia Raju, if you're here, please come up. Martha Sanzavar, I think we mentioned your name. You can't hide back there. Carrie Needham, who is over her. And the other bosses, Ron Kirkpatrick and Randy Bartlett. I know they couldn't make it today, but Randy is Director of Public Works and Environmental Services. Ron is over Capital Facilities, which is the division responsible for this. Karen Davis is a construction manager. And Kabi Anor Ampofo. I love that name. I want that name. Where is Kabi? Kabi, are you here? No? And then we have the architects with the firm Grimm and Parker. Despite the name, they're very happy people. We'd have David Whale and Emily Wright. I hope they're represented here today. And then the contractor, as I said, that's R.J. Crowley, and I believe Scott Gould is representing that firm today. So could we give them a big hand for all their... And they're here for you and will be a part of this over the next several months as this project becomes reality. So always know that we're here to serve you, to answer your questions, to make sure we get over the finish line with the built building. So some of the things about the actual structure. So we have the library, which will be a new and improved library, expanded for a larger reading room, senior room, teen room, conference rooms. It'll be a bigger and better library connected directly to this new community center, which will have room for sports, room for gathering, the CAC, and we will use what's called LEED certified. That ensures that it's environmentally sound. And to their credit, Fairfax has met that requirement for, I think, 17 projects, Gerry, now, or Martha? 32. Woo, woo, woo. Breaking news, 32. That's a big deal. It costs more, but it's worth it. You get the right materials that were sourced in the proper way. You don't just demo buildings. You reuse them. We're not throwing that in the landfill. We're going to keep it and keep part of our heritage. We will redevelop these lands so that more stormwater is captured on this property, and we use native plants to bring back native birds and insects. Insects are a good thing. And butterflies. Who doesn't love butterflies? And all those creatures come back. And so all these little features and every single detail, where the path goes, how that path relates to the land, all that was thought about by these people, you, the architects, coming together, and of course with our great political leadership to make sure we had the dough, right? That's what you guys do, and led the community to ensure that this all came together. I think that sums it up, but thank you all, you citizens who come out day, night, weekends to express your opinions, tell us what you need and want. That is so important, and it's really critical to the public process. So thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you very much. The next speaker is Chris Leonard. Chris is Director of Neighborhood and Community Services, the folks that really will be operating much of the community center and is instrumental in the basic part of our vision to begin with, which is why we need recreation, why we need seniors and youth and the multi-generational facilities that can truly make a difference. Chris has been doing this a long time, so we're excited to have you here, and thank you, sir, for your work over the years.
First, Rachel, did you call our contractor beefy? I don't know what you say about me behind closed doors. Good morning, everyone. And the rain is holding off. What a great day to be joining you this morning to celebrate the groundbreaking of this very important community project. First, I would like to specifically thank Supervisor Storck and former Supervisor Hyland. Thank you both for your leadership in getting the project to this point. I know, I believe, and I know that the end product will be something of which you and this community will be very proud, and we're committed to that. The Fairfax County Department of Neighborhood and Community Services, some of you may know us short as NCS. We operate community centers and senior centers across the county. This location will be one of which that will be able to have both services in one location. Many of you know, and I know Supervisor Storck alluded to it earlier, that Lorton Senior Center, just down the road here at Gunstone Plaza, we operated that for many, many years. Lots of memories, lots of love in that facility. But I will say that moving to this new location will enable the programming to be both expanded and enhanced. And I know from many emails and many calls and many visits that our senior adult participants at the Senior Center are greatly looking forward to the exciting opportunities here in this building. In addition to the Senior Center programming, the Community Center will host a number of youth programming that is designed to increase access to needed after-school supports, as well as social and emotional developmental supports for kids. Combined with the walkability that this location affords us, we can't be more excited to get started with the programming. You will soon hear from our core partners in this effort, the Lorton Library and the Lorton Community Action Center. NCS has had great experience through the years working with both partners to deliver great services, needed services to our communities, and no doubt the outcomes that are going to be created here will be both positive and plentiful. So we're looking forward to that continued partnership with both of you. Today we see an active construction site, but if you look at your program or saw the poster on your way in, you see renderings of the new building, both inside and out. It is a beautiful facility that will offer a broad array of services to meet the growing needs of this community. Recreation and leisure programs, educational technology supports, skill development opportunities, inclusion programs, social clubs, community events. It really does span the gamut. But what I want to say is we're here to commit to you as NCS that we will work directly with you to bring the programs and services that you want, that are aligned with your desires. The successful programs that we see across the county are those that are brought specifically in partnership with the community. So the community engagement that got us to this point in terms of the facility, that will continue for the life of this facility. That's what will make this facility and the programs that are housed within it, that's what will make this special for you, because we are keenly aware that this is not our community center, this is your community center, and we want to work with you to make it the best it absolutely can be. So we do envision this facility to be a vibrant, thriving hub of activity that enhances the well-being of individuals throughout this community. And it is my pleasure to join you as we break ground and look forward to the wonderful experiences that await us here at Lorton Community Center, the Lorton Library, and Lorton Community Action Center. So thank you for the opportunity to come, and look forward to great things ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. And I particularly, I know we know the difference in a community center is how that engages the community, and having advisory committees and the number of things that you all do is the key way to bring this to life. So we have a building, but now how do we bring it to life? How do we really connect it to the whole community? That's something that Jessica Hudson has been doing for a long time as library director in another place, but coming to us about 4 or 5 years ago. I know I met you pretty much after I started supervisor, and really the conversation that we had even then about what libraries of the future will look like, and how do we truly change the 21st century version of a library? How do we truly engage the community in a different kind of way with learning? And I know that that's the leadership that Jessica has had, and that's the leadership that the board's having, and proof of that is right here with us. So with that, Jessica, thank you very much, and look forward to your comments.
Oh, you all are much taller than me. We're going to tilt that down a little bit. I think we'll be okay. That worked out nicely. I am thrilled to be here today, and when Supervisor Storck was first talking about what this joint facility is going to look like, he said that the library is helping feed the mind, the community center is helping feed the body, the Lorton Community Action Center is helping feed the soul, and it was this perfect analogy of this wonderful facility that the Lorton community is going to be able to enjoy. The only part that was missing for me was the part where it feeds the tummy. And I thought, oh, well, maybe we could have like a snack shack. That could be an add-on later in. So, just future ideas for our facilities. Like many of the other speakers, we have a lot of thanks to go around for this facility, because it's not the work of one person or one community. It's everybody participating. I particularly want to thank the staff at the Lorton Library. Lynn McKinney, our branch manager, is here today. But all the staff there worked so hard in a building that was very gently called worn down. And as with all county facilities, we really just run them into the ground because we want to be good stewards of county taxpayer dollars. So it was desperately in need of a remodel, and she and her staff did a fantastic job over the years making sure that it was vibrant and usable and lively until we got to this point in time. So thank you, Lynn, and your staff. I'd also like to thank our Library Board of Trustees. Our chair, Fran Milhauser, is here today, and all of their support for getting us to this point. So there are all the thanks. Normally at this point I would say, raise your hands if you actually use the Lorton Library. I wasn't going to make you do that because it's kind of hot and we might be a little sweaty, but you can if you want. Who uses the Lorton Library, right? That's a wonderful number, and we know that we have thousands of people come through our doors there every week, and it's closed right now. It's been closed since the start of COVID. It's going to be closed for years to come, and we know that that is not optimal. But at the end, you're going to have a beautiful new facility, and I'm sure that you can imagine walking through the doors of the current Lorton Library. You come in through the hallway, and you angle a little to the right, and you have this lovely but diminutive library that you go into in kind of a shell shape. And we've got books and shelves and programs and a little shrinky-dink kids section, and you probably love to use that library. But think of how much better it's going to be and how much more it's going to offer you and your community members when we reopen. You've heard from other speakers that it's about 6,000 square feet larger, and all of that space has been purposefully designed based on your input to support programs and services that are of interest. We have a larger children's room that's modeled to mimic the park that will be right next door. We have quiet study room space and a teen room, glassed in so we can see what's happening, but totally enclosed so you don't have to hear what's happening if you don't want to. We have study carols, and all of those great programs that you are used to seeing in our libraries will be continued there. You can check out a book. We will still have books, I promise. You can use a computer to educate yourself or recreate. You can come attend programs. You can chat with your favorite library staff. You can do all of those things you need to do in a one-stop shop to feed your mind, your body, and your soul. So I am particularly grateful to Supervisor Storck, who, when I first started here about 4.5 years ago, we were talking about the bonds. And the Lorton Community Center was 2 years ahead of when the money was going to come for the Lorton Library, and we were trying to figure out the timing. And he said, you know what? We will work it out. This matters. This matters to the community. We want it to happen concurrently so they get one beautiful facility all at once. And he made it happen. So thank you. Yeah. So thank you all. Have a great day.
Thank you, Jessica. And next is Linda Patterson. Linda is LCAC Executive Director, and in my very early life, I was Executive Director of a LCAC-type organization in Ohio. So I can definitely connect and appreciate the work and the efforts it takes to bring people together, volunteers as well as funding sources to try to make things happen. And that's truly what has happened through the history of LCAC. It's also why we're here today, is because they've been constrained, right? They've not had the ability to do the many things that they would love to do because their facility just never was enough. This is a huge opportunity for all of us, and definitely a way to bring the community together even more effectively and meet those needs. So with that, Linda, thank you very much.
Thanks, Jessica, for remembering us short people up here. So, good morning. I'm Linda Patterson. I'm the Executive Director for Lorton Community Action Center, or LCAC. I have been blessed to have been a part of the staff of LCAC in both client services and leadership roles for almost 16 years. The Lorton Community Center is the culmination of the work and dreams of many in our community, some of which are gathered here today. Not the least of which, though, was one of our founders, Christine Herbstreit. In 1981, Christine was quoted in a Washington Post article as sharing that her dream was to build a supermarket of human services in this area, a facility that would house social workers, the library, child care and activity programs, the seniors, and many other services in the community. That's the vision of this facility, folks. 1981, that's when she said it. And many people worked to make this happen, not the least of which is my friend, Gerry Hyland. The work that he did to continue to push to make this happen, and then for Dan to take up those reins and make it all work for all of the community is nothing short of a miracle. So thank you both for that. So as LCAC is preparing for this moment when we can say loving goodbyes to the Murphy House, I have spoken to many people in our community about this moment, about their dreams for this facility, and I wanted to share with you just a few of their thoughts because I feel like it captures exactly what this facility is. The new Lorton Community Center will bring together people who will inspire each other. It will stand as a testament to our long-term investment in our communities. Beyond the bricks and mortar, this building will be transformed by the energy and passion of the people who visit. Staff, volunteers, parents, children, seniors, and youth. That was shared with us by Rod Myers, a local resident. I can imagine continuing to overcome isolation issues that plague so many seniors and other people with disabilities living in our community through a connection with this new community center. That's from Donna, a local resident. Growing up, I spent my summers wondering why this community didn't have many options for teenagers that occupy this area. The lack of community resources usually leads young people to break the law, perhaps do drugs, roam the streets out of boredom. The new community center gives people a safe place to do productive things and interact with each other in a comfortable environment. Local youth, Eric Robles. The community center will open up wonderful resources for youth and seniors in my community, providing opportunities for jobs, education, belonging, resources, mentors, health, nutrition, and security. Local resident Lakeisha Nash. Christine Herbstreit and other community leaders almost 40 years ago provided a vision of what the Lorton Community Center could be for this jewel that is Lorton. The thoughts I've shared from Donna, Rod, Eric, and Lakeisha, along with many others, are all expansions of that first vision. LCAC is thrilled to be a part of this project. We're thankful for the efforts of the entire Board of Supervisors, for Supervisor Hyland, for Supervisor Storck, for the long hours to engage the community, for the work of Chris Leonard, Lloyd Tucker, Palace Washington, and NCS staff, along with Lynn McKinney, Catherine Jarman, Jessica Hudson, and Ted Kavich with libraries. And I would be remiss if I did not give a shout out to LCAC staff, volunteers, and our two previous executive directors, Janine Dean Purdy and Steve Rourke, for all their work over the years on behalf of this community. And finally, to LCAC's wonderful volunteer board of directors, thank you. Can you guys raise your hand, our board? We do have board members here. Thank you. So many opportunities for our neighbors will grow and blossom because of this facility. Thank you to so many who are making this dream come true for LCAC and for all of our neighbors. Thanks.
Thank you, Linda, very much. Our next speaker is somebody who I mentioned a little bit right at the very beginning of it. It's Elsa Galvan. Elsa was a steering committee member. She's also a community activist. She's an LCAC volunteer. And most importantly, she made sure that residents in this area knew what was going on throughout the whole process. That communication was essential. Elsa will be speaking to you today in her native language, Spanish, and after she is done, Diego Rodriguez Cabrera, Latinx Outreach Coordinator in my office, will translate her speech to you in English. So with that, Elsa.
Good morning. Buenos días. Buenos días. Mi nombre es Elsa Galvan. Soy voluntaria del Centro de la Comunidad de Lorton. Soy madre de 4 niños. Vivo en este vecindario por más de 18 años. Estoy aquí para agradecer a todos ustedes y celebrar en nombre de mi comunidad hispanohablante el comienzo de este nuevo centro, el cual nos traerá muchos beneficios para nuestros niños, adolescentes y adultos mayores. Esto significa para mí y mi familia un gran logro, ya que no contamos con un lugar de esta gran magnitud donde nuestros hijos adolescentes puedan crecer sanos y conviviendo con otros jóvenes de la comunidad. En mi familia todavía cuento con 2 niños menores. Están súper emocionados por ver esta maravillosa construcción realizada. Me dicen que no hubo mejor lugar en sus vidas que crecer en este bello vecindario de Lorton. Nuevamente, muchas gracias a todas las personas que hicieron posible que este gran proyecto se celebrara. Gracias. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Elsa Galvan, and I am a volunteer of the Lorton Community Action Center. I am a mother of 4 children and have lived in this neighborhood for more than 18 years. I'm here to give thanks and celebrate with my Hispanic community the beginning of a new center, of which will bring us various benefits for all our children, adolescents, and our senior citizens. For my family, this event signifies a great achievement, since we did not have a facility of this magnitude where our children can grow up safe and coexisting with other young people from all around our community. In my family, my 2 young children are incredibly excited to witness the realization of this marvelous construction. They tell me that there is no better place in their young lives than to grow up in this beautiful neighborhood in Lorton. Again, a big thank you to everyone who made this wonderful project possible. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Elsa. Thank you very much. Wonderful sentiments, and I think you captured why we're here today. So thank you again for saying that. With that, we're going to bring the folks up here to get started to actually get the shovels out and at least show that we're doing something that's productive today. Won't compare it with what's being done behind us, but we're going to at least give a chance to recognize all the efforts and have that kind of special moment that we can then show. And then 30 years later, if I'm still around and I can see that I had hair now, and Gerry, you're going to look the same, so you'll be in good shape, right? So with that, we'll go ahead. If the speakers can come back, we'll go ahead and get the shovels out and get a nice picture. Thank you. We're going to dig it.
Call Sickles. Call Sickles, because he's got the checkbook.
Okay.